Hello, welcome back to Stronger Than Before. If you've been telling yourself lately, I don't know what's wrong with me. I used to be more driven. I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Well, let me challenge you. You didn't lose motivation. What you lost was trust. You didn't wake up one day and suddenly forget how to be driven. That's not how it works. What happened is you told yourself you were going to start working out and you didn't. You told yourself you were going to leave a relationship and you stayed. And you told yourself that this was a year you were going to go all in and you didn't follow through. I know life happens. Time moves on and you notice that, wow, time really moved on. I mean, take it from me. I was in that relationship for over 30 years, right? Talk about time moving on. You get complacent, you get comfortable. In some way, you just making that decision is just very hard. But you need to know this. Your brain starts to keep score, not in a loud way, in a quiet, subtle way. It starts saying, yeah, you don't really do what you said you were going to do. And from that moment on, you just you stop trusting yourself. And when you set a goal, you just don't feel excited. You feel resistance, not because you're lazy, but because somewhere deep down, you don't believe yourself anymore. And that is trust. Let me talk to my high performers for a minute because one hits just a tad differently. You're not someone who lacks discipline. You built a career. You've led teams and you delivered results. I get it. But now you sit down to do something important, and you just don't start. Or you start and you stop. People call that procrastination. I'm not sure if it makes sense to you, but here's why. Somewhere along the way, something broke your trust. Maybe a business didn't work out. Maybe a role didn't turn out the way you thought it would. You gave everything and it didn't pay off. And your brain adjusted. It said, let's not go all in again. We didn't end well last time. Your brain goes into protection mode. You don't know about it, but that's why your brain exists. It goes into protection mode. So now you hesitate, not because you've lost your edge, but because you've lost certainty. Well, you all know my story. It's a theory that's out there, but it's real. After my stroke, I didn't just lose my voice. I lost trust in myself. Think about that. I had to rebuild a life where my identity was tied to leading, to speaking, showing up more powerfully. And then suddenly I couldn't do the one thing that defined me. So when people talk about motivation, I'm like, you just don't understand. I didn't need more motivation. I didn't need another inspirational story. What I needed was to believe in myself, that I could become someone again, that I could trust myself again. And that's a completely different journey. So I'm here to tell you, you didn't lose motivation. You lost trust. You tried and it failed and you lost trust. You committed and you didn't follow through. You lost trust. You believed and you got hurt, so you lost trust. And now your brain is doing exactly what it is designed to do. Protect you, put you in the survivor mode, trying to get you moving without you getting moving, from disappointment, from failure, from pain. So instead of pushing you forward, it holds you back. Where in your life do you not trust yourself right now? Today, we're going to unpack something that most people never speak about, the real reason you're stuck, why willpower is failing you, and how to rebuild trust so you can actually move forward again. So let's break this down. Most people think the problem is a lack of discipline, a lack of clarity, a lack of motivation. You are not broken. You are responding to disrupted trust. It's human. Remember, clarity is trust in your direction. Discipline is self-trust in action. And motivation is the movement fueled by belief. Every result in your life is built on trust. So when you stop showing up for yourself, you don't just miss the workout. You don't just procrastinate a task. You start to send yourself a message. I can't trust myself. And that creates a downward spiral. Broken trust, doubt. Doubt leads to low confidence. Low confidence leads to inaction. Inaction leads to shame, and shame creates identity damage. And now you're just struggling. You're questioning who you are. So I have a trust rebuild tool I want you to think about. So step number 1 is I want you to name the break. Why don't you trust yourself? Give it a name. Step number 2 is you want to remove the shame. All of that is not real. That is not a character flaw. That's a system failure. Step three is you want to shrink the promise. You want to create a small and winnable commitment. I celebrate a small win every single day. You should too. And then step four is add one support system, an accountability partner, a structure, or an environment. These actions will get you where you want to go. And then step five is just to build evidence that you followed through. Don't do it alone. Ask for help. Ask for your community. Ask for friends. People will surround you and help you develop that trust in yourself again. The most important shift you can take is to stop trying to become stronger. Start building a systems that support you. People don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they trust willpower instead of structure. So some tools, if you can't work out, you want to get a trainer or an accountability partner. If you can't eat healthy, you want to remove the choice. You want to go with a meal planning service. If you can't stay consistent, you want to add accountability. There is a way, there is a movement that you can take by going out of your own pocket and asking for help. Where there is a will, there's a way. When your brain is in protection mode, we need to trust ourselves and trust others to move forward. This is not a weakness. This is leadership. So you don't need more motivation. You don't need to trust yourself again. Start with one small promise and keep it. That's exactly why I built the Stronger framework, because I realized people think they can't when actually they can. Sometimes they need a coach or someone to talk to get out of their heads and get into the game. And that is you. So if you need somebody to speak to, reach out to me on my website. I want to thank you again for joining us today. And if you have comments or questions or you just want to talk, follow up with me at kellydeandrea.com. I read everything and I want you to all have a great day.